So how did this all get started, by the way? People forgetting how this all got started. All right, so here's how it's Aaron Burnett's going to break it down for you. This is the same news network that reported it out. They broke this story.
Warren had no problem with this story yesterday. It was clearly leaked by her team to CNN.
Clearly.
It came out more than a year after the meeting. It came out on the eve of a debate. This is pretty clear. She knew about this. She sanctioned it. Everything around it indicates that. Why is she pumping the brakes now, indicating don't want to talk about this anymore? We're all cool.
Even Aaron Burnett sees through her. First it was Micah and Joe Scarborough saw through Elizabeth Warren and CNN, and now CNN sees through Elizabeth Warren. Isn't that wild? And now you don't want to talk about it? So watch this. We got Dumb and Dumber over here. We got, this is all. I mean, the fact that these guys have conversations every night together like this is, I mean, we should be compiling these conversations and putting them into a movie length project, because to watch these two fucking morons talk to each other is some of the best entertainment. Watch this. You think I'm kidding? Watch this.
There were no major catfights, except for the thing about, can a woman be president or not?
Well, that's just about the truth between Warren and Sanders. I don't disagree with you, Mom.
But you don't know the context of that conversation, because and people are going to yell at me or whatever,
Me too.
saying that a woman can't be president. Well, a woman isn't president right now.
A woman hasn't been president.
A woman has not been president.
A woman couldn't
but
be.
you don't
These
know
guys
the
are nailing it. How do they, man? Good thing they have fact checkers in real time. That's
Oh my God!
They got that one.
Well, there isn't a woman president.
There hasn't been
right?
one. We've not done that. We've not. I got the pictures right here.
Now,
all the headshots. No women.
Now, do they have fact checkers right now while they're talking? Usually CNN does.
I don't know, but that's amazing that they're really that woman. Can we check that? Has a woman ever been president? Let's get a check. Let's get a check on that.
United States. That's the place we're looking for.
Yeah,
If you got a
U.S. of A.
U.S. of A. That's us.
Lady president. Put it in.
Just Google it. I think it'll come up. You go Google image it, and we'll see.
So what? It gets better. Watch this.
So the conversation.
100%. We don't know the context.
Yeah, right.
But I'll tell you.
What is this? What is this bullshit about? We don't know the context.
What
does that mean? We don't know the context.
They're referring to the conversation, right? So they're saying
Context that was reported by two other people that no one took. What does that mean? The context was what?
Well, I think what they mean in the conversation
Yeah.
they're having is they're saying like the context in which they had that conversation. So they're saying that they think Bernie said this.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
But they're saying like we don't know the context, like how he meant it.
yeah.
I think that's what they're
Okay.
going back and forth
That's
about.
right, Elizabeth. I don't think a woman could ever be president.
That's what they. So maybe he was saying it sarcastically. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Watch this.
What's interesting to see is people saying, we have no idea what was really said. Wait a minute.
Right. You don't.
You got a woman who's also a U.S. senator who's telling you what was said. Since
Wait a
when?
second.
You got a U.S. senator whose
told
mother
you?
was a woman who's telling you what was said. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, like what the hell?
Well, let's watch him. So let's watch stupid shit he has to say in one swoop. Here we go.
You don't.
You got a woman who's also a U.S. senator who's telling you what was said. Since when do we hear women saying what happened and we say, well, we can't believe it, it's just her?
No, I'm not.
Oh, jeez.
So here's what Katie Helper says. Chris Cuomo's brain is so basic. You can see it move through his eyes as he struggles to make a very stupid and sloppy connection between Believe Women and Warren Sanders. The argument being made by pseudo-feminists is just as bad, but that much more offensive because they know better. So what he's doing is he's conflating female politicians lying on a campaign with women talking about sexual harassment from powerful men. He's conflated. I love how you can see the stupidity has moved through his eyes as he struggles to make a very stupid and sloppy connection.
Yeah, that's a great tweet. And then Chris Cuomo responded to Katie Halper's tweet
no.
and said, "My argument will throw your argument down the stairs." That's
Yeah, my argument will wreck your argument. Shit. Well, I'm gonna wreck your shit. You gonna call? Are you calling my argument the N-word? That's like the N-word to news reporters.
saying that my brain's basic.
That's like the N-word, the B word, basic. It's basically N. Wow. Chris Cuomo conflating the hashtag Me Too with a politician who's been documented liar. By the way, where's the document of Bernie lying? Where's that at? You know what I mean? Documented that Elizabeth Warren is a compulsive liar. She lies about. I mean, go listen to Michael Moore's podcast from yesterday if you don't believe me. He goes scorched earth on her, and he told me about lies I never knew she lied about. She lied. She said she was the first woman nursing to pass the bar. She lied about that. She said she was. Michael Moore points out that she didn't just check a box that said she was Native American. She had to write it out longhand in cursive. She had to write it out longhand. She also said that her dad was a janitor. Her brother contacted the news media to tell the news media that's not true. My dad wasn't a janitor. There's like Michael Moore kept laying it down. I was like, whoa. And so this is probably the dumbest way to fight against Trump is to nominate a woman whose claim to fame is that she lied about her heritage to get ahead. And when she lies about her heritage on an application for college, what that does is take away that spot that's supposed to go to somebody of color. And it gives it to a lily white person. That's what that does. So that's why that's also horrible. So does Bernie have this 40-year track record of lying? No. You know who does? Elizabeth Warren. And that's why I said that, bad idea. She said bad idea to try to run a known liar against a liar. And basically you're running on the premise of he's a liar and I'm a better person. That's what the Democrats are doing. And she takes the big money, and she used to be a Republican until Bill Clinton moved the party sufficiently right. She's smearing Bernie as a I mean, the whole deal. I mean, Trump will eat her lunch.
Oh, yeah. And they just want to count on Americans to pick the lesser liar.
Yeah, yes.
That's what they're hoping for.
It's the lesser of two liars.
Mm-hmm.
And so watch what this guy says. This is that Joe Lockhart, former Clinton guy. Watch what he says on CNN.
Bernie Sanders probably had the most difficult night because I think the people who matter most, who care the most about this electability issue and women's not being electable are women. And I can't imagine any woman watching last night and saying, I believe Bernie.
What?
I guess Joe Lockhart needs to hear about this series of tubes known as the internet. Because if he did, he would find out there were a lot of people, many of them women, tweeting, I believe Bernie.
Well, here's one right there. She's got a blue check and everything. And she's got almost 4,000 likes by the time I grabbed it. So I bet you those all dudes, though, liking it.
Naturally. Yes,
naturally.
Of course.
So, I mean, this guy's paid for his opinion. And now you understand why they lost to Trump? Now you understand why this establishment class lost to Trump? Why the only people who watch CNN do it to hate watch it?
Well, to his credit, I mean, in some ways he's right. Bernie did have the most difficult day because he got so much money from so many donors, like so many people.
Yes.
He's got to figure out, what do I do with all that money now? All these people who support me and gave me money after this happened, what am I going to do with it all?
Right.
So he might have that problem. That was difficult.
I really thought that we were, they call campaign, they would call it the silly season, right? Oh, we're in the silly season, right? Because crazy shit happens on campaigns. People are desperate for power and they do desperate things like Elizabeth Warren planning this bullshit story and then pulling this stunt where she knew the microphones were open. This is all fucking staged.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
It was so staged, I predicted it. That's how fucking staged this was. And I forgot the point of saying, I thought that it couldn't get crazier than it already was. Trump and Russiagate and all. I thought it's getting nuttier. People coming out, just like that guy saying, I can't imagine a woman. What? Twitter was filled with people saying, my mom switched from Elizabeth to Bernie last night. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I think it's like they see where Bernie's at in the polls. So they're like, all right, all forces
Yes.
ahead. Like they're like, we're gonna throw everything in the kitchen sink at this thing because now's the time. I think in an ideal world for Liz Warren or the Biden campaign or whoever else, they would wait a little longer before they pulled out all the stops. But they're seeing Bernie getting ahead. They don't want him to win some states early going into Super
You're right.
Tuesday.
That's
That wouldn't look good. So they're pulling every punch now.
So this is from Julia Loff, I guess is how you say her name, Loffe, Loff. She's a writer for she gets her stuff printed in LA Times and stuff. She tweeted this out. She goes, still thinking about Warren Bernie squabble, and I have a question to people who have accused Warren of lying. Isn't the lesson of hashtag Me Too and the last few years that we believe women and don't call them liars? No, that's not the lesson. Again, you're conflating someone talking about being sexual harassed by someone who has power over them with a woman running for political office and her campaign lying, and her campaign in order to get power. Those are not the same thing whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a false equivalency, and it's the same thing that Fredo did earlier, and,
Yep.
and that she's doing here, and it's.
Yep. And so David Dole, Rational National, he catches it. He goes, yes, the lesson of Me Too is that female politicians are always telling the truth and never lie for political benefit. Great take. 4.7 thousand likes. That's pretty popular.
good.
And that's a response to a tweet. It's pretty popular for being a response to a tweet. That was pretty well said. Someone else said this. Women lie too, Julia. Women also weaponize serious and important issues for political and personal gain, like you're doing right now. Yep. And so she'll write that. Oh wait. So here's Caitlin Johnson had caught her. She goes, Julia is a lying, manipulative propagandist who consistently distorts reality to advance establishment narratives. In other words, you're a liar. And so one of the lessons of hashtag Me Too is to be able to sniff out people like you who hide behind that while you're lying. And Caitlin Johnston caught you. Julia is a lying, manipulative propagandist who consistently distorts reality to advance establishment narratives. But this tactic of using language designed to protect rape victims from marginalization to shield a cynical political ploy from criticism is even low for her.
Damn. Yeah. Caitlin Johnstone is not one to mince words.
No.
She says what she means.
This tactic of using language designed to protect rape victims from marginalization to shield a cynical political ploy from criticism is even low for her. Wow. So, Billy Eichner, right? Very popular guy. And I don't know how I stumble over his tweets all the time, right? And he is classic blue check Hollywood, right? And I'm sure he's a nice person if you meet him and his heart's in the right place and all that stuff. And I'm sure he does a great show. But I don't know him, and I don't. But I'm just assuming these things. And but I always run across his tweets because it is the quintessential blue check Hollywood. Forget about the problem and focus on the symptom. Right? He's one of these. He's one of those guys who say, "Hey, I told a bellhop to vote today." Hey, why don't you tell a politician to go to Congress and fucking work on behalf of that bellhop?
Yes.
How about you tweet that? I told a politician to work on behalf of a fucking bellhop today. So he says this. Regardless of whether you support Warren specifically, this is the right attitude to have. We are in a profoundly misogynistic country and a misogynistic world. We have been forever. We cannot succumb to it. FYI, Billy, you don't fight misogyny by lying and smearing an ally in the most slimy way possible.
2.3?
2.3. You don't fight misogyny by falsely accusing people of misogyny. You don't fight anything by crying wolf. We said this when Bernie ran the last time. If you're going to call Bernie Sanders a sexist, when you get to the general, it's going to fall on deaf ears. when you call Trump a sexist, because if Bernie's a sexist and Trump's a sexist, then I guess sex is not that bad of a thing, little boy who cried wolf.
And CNN verified it. Trump won.
Yeah.
There's never been a woman president.
Hey, come see a live Jimmy Dore show. We're going to be in Tempe, Arizona, Sacramento, San Jose, Miami. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all tickets to all of our live shows, and go to jimmydorecomedy.com/join to become a premium member. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Thanks for your support.